How's it going, everyone? Dr. Frankie Bashan here, and it's Thursday, and I am going to cover an important topic as usual, right? I always think all my topics are important, and if I didn't feel that way, I guess that I wouldn't be covering them. But um, before I jump into today's topic, I just want to acknowledge that, oh my gosh, tomorrow is election day, and finally we're gonna hopefully. Ooh, there's just so much tension around it. Hopefully, there'll be some good news and we can move forward with making some progress. I'm just really holding hope. And I guess that's what I'll leave you with around that. I'm hopeful. And oh, I can say that I'm headed on Wednesday to Mexico for a conference, for a matchmakers conference where over 100 matchmakers get together. It's called the Matchmakers Alliance, and we collaborate and we connect over how we do what we do, and we share our tools, our just all of our experience and knowledge with each other to help support one another and make connections, and ultimately, actually, to help us make matches, right? So they have clients they work with, and we have clients we work with that we want to match. So we get together and we try to find amazing matches for our clients. So I'm really looking forward to that. And my team is joining me this year, which is fantastic. And I'm going to get to talk about, I'm speaking this year. So I'm going to talk about beyond the binary. So what it's like to work with in the LGBTQ plus community as a matchmaker. And I'm going to help encourage a lot of these matchmakers who aren't really, they're not immersed in the queer culture. And it's sometimes intimidating and scary to misstep, use the wrong terminology, misgender somebody, and so on. And I want to give them some tools and greater understanding about how to engage with our community in a way that feels supportive and sensitive and inclusive. So I'm thrilled about having the opportunity to do that. And I'm looking forward to connecting with matchmakers that I met last year. And hopefully it won't rain every day. And the forecast is just rain every single day. So I'll be hopeful just to even get a little bit of sun for one day, maybe for a few hours. Last year, I didn't even get to sit in the water, not even once. So, but there's so many blessings about going on this trip. If I don't get to go in the water at all, I'm kind of okay with it. Okay, and if you're new to my channel, I'm Dr. Frankie, and I cover different topics related to interpersonal relationships. It can be related to sex, dating, flirting, romance, communication, how to argue in a way that is productive, how to ask for what you need, how to communicate, like all the things that really matter in life around connection and relating and having healthy relationships. So that's what I cover on this channel. So please subscribe below if you feel like you want to live healthier, have deeper relationships. And yeah, I just appreciate you. Thanks for being here. And I'm just going to jump into my topic of the day. Here we go. Supporting a partner through personal crisis. Oh my gosh, we all have at one point or another experienced crises, right? One of the most meaningful parts of being in a relationship is that you can support each other through difficult times or personal crises. But this doesn't mean it's not challenging to take it on, right? Whether it's an illness, family emergency, a loss of a loved one, career problem, or something else, it can feel overwhelming to figure out, well, how do I actually support my partner through something really big? Today, I want to recommend some ways that you can actually do that. First, manage your own emotions and work on self-regulation. You may have heard the expression about putting your own oxygen mask on before assisting others. This is true in a literal plane crash scenario, but also true when it comes to our interpersonal relationships. Any healthy relationship is a constant exchange of support and care for one another. Maybe you make breakfast for your partner because they're in a rush leaving the house, and in the afternoon, they set you up with tea and an Advil in a dark room because you're having a migraine. This is the kind of appropriate interdependency that we should all be striving for in our relationships. However, when someone is going through a crisis, whatever that looks like, relationships may be temporarily less balanced. And in this, counterintuitively, it can feel really kind of can be healthy too, but it can feel hard because you're both needing to have support sometimes at the same time. and you're feeling like, wait, now there's this imbalance. How do I support my partner? So, a great way to support is during a challenging time is to shore up your own forms of support, investing in your practices of self-regulation and reaching out to your wider network for co-regulation, so to speak, so that you can focus on taking care of yourself and regulate on your own. Because you can't always look to your partner, right, to regulate for you. Crises and extended periods of difficulty are very stressful, especially as they often extend beyond the initial moments or days of an emergency into a long-term problem sometimes. Taking care of yourself intentionally, making sure you're eating and sleeping, getting your social and emotional needs met, and managing your own emotions means you're more likely to be able to support your partner in meaningful ways and less likely to snap at them or lose patience when they're regrettably, but understandably, difficult to be with or less than their best selves because they're going through a crisis. So, really thinking about self care is so important. How can you take care of yourself so that you're filled up, so that you can be there to support your partner? And also, you just never know when things are going to come up. When is a crisis going to come up? It's sudden and abrupt oftentimes. And that's why you need to be on a regular basis, really kind of thinking about, well, how can I bolster myself for, events that come up that are going to stress potentially the relationship? So, part of why it's so important to work on maintaining an active social network and meaningful relationships outside of your partnership, like keeping up friendships, making new ones, including friends that you and your partner don't share, and maintaining connections to family if you and your family are on good terms. Over the course of any long term relationship, there will be times when your partner doesn't have the bandwidth to serve as your only source of emotional support. And at times when you need to talk about and process things that are going on with your partner with someone who isn't them. Investing in a strong network of friendship means you'll have the social support to keep going, even when your partner can't always be there for you. And they can support you in supporting them when necessary. Ideally, your partner also has a network of friends and family that they can coordinate with on supporting them, like organizing their loved ones into a meal train, for example. So you each independently have a support system outside of the relationship. You're not looking to each other entirely for support. The second point I want to make is learn and respect what support and care looks like for them. Many of us are enthusiastic about rising to the occasion of caring for a partner, whether it be prepping meals to batch and freeze, going with them to the doctor's appointments, or arranging cute date nights and self-care evenings to soothe them. The problem arises when your partner doesn't find these things supportive or caring, or they want other forms of support or that are kind of you're less interested in offering. A scenario that can leave both of you feeling frustrated and hurt. Just like anxiously attached people often end up dating avoidantly attached ones, or tops often end up dating bottoms, it's very normal to end up in a relationship with someone who experiences care or emotional support very differently than you. Maybe you've experienced trying to offer someone solutions or problem solving when they really wanted affirmations and active listening. The same principle applies here. Your vision of how to support your partner through this tough time might be extensive, processing and talking through their feelings, growing more emotionally intimate through the crisis. But this might sound excruciating to your partner who's just trying to get through each day as they come. They may want help with dishes and laundry, or even to have one place where they don't talk about the issue or where they can pretend it actually isn't even happening. How to know how to care for your partner? It's a great question. It's easiest to talk about these things when there isn't actually an active issue or crisis going on. Ideally, you can talk through what makes both of you feel cared for early in the relationship when there isn't anything major happening. What do they find hardest to bear when they're going through something tough? Do they really struggle with feeding themselves or getting out of bed? What are things people have to do for them in the past that they've experienced are enormously helpful or that have made it worse for that matter? During a crisis, it can be difficult to have these wide ranging conversations, but you can still try to have lightweight, concrete check ins. It can be difficult to answer big, abstract questions like, what do you need right now? Instead, try more concrete questions focused on the immediate moment or offer options. Is there anything that would make today easier for you? Would you like for me to order dinner or handle the maintenance guy when he comes tomorrow or call your mom to update her on what the doctor said? The third thing I want to suggest is remember support is a marathon, not a sprint. Some people actually find it surprisingly gratifying to care for a partner at the outset of a crisis. It feels good to get to be useful and make a difference in the life of someone we really care about. And we may feel that it's bringing us even closer in our relationship. The difficulty often comes weeks or months in when you and your partner are both fatigued and things just haven't kind of returned to normal yet. Many life changes, the death of a loved one, job loss or unemployment, major illness or injury, have a long lasting impact on your shared life together. And some crises may mean that things never actually go back to normal. Your partner may be forever changed, and your relationship, by association, may be changed. This doesn't need to be a bad thing necessarily, but it does require adjusting perspective. It's important to prioritize patience with your partner, with yourself, and with the solution. The goal isn't to be the perfect partner or support person in every single instant. That's not possible, not even realistic. But to remain a consistent, steady presence who remains mostly reliable and comforting over all of the instants that make up your shared experience of this crisis is what's really most important. So, I encourage you to really have those kind of conversations early on in your relationship when they're not so tough to have than when you actually find yourself in a crisis. Because the likelihood of a crisis coming up is pretty high in this thing called life that we're doing here. Shit happens, right? So, those are my thoughts for the day. I will see you all next week. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Kisses, hugs. Take good care.